Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a great Friday afternoon as we get ready to go into the weekend. So, according to the Hollywood insider, Jeff Snyder, right? Jeff's been pretty good on his predictions. According to early reactions, the Superman movie, the screening rather, uh, David Corenswet delivers a great performance as Superman. Now, not only doesn't that surprise me that Corenswet delivers a great performance, because we're all you have to do is a little bit of research, right? Um, Now, I want you all to keep in mind as well, some of the early screenings that came out talked about um, Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor, right? Being a great performance, right? So keep that in mind. You got a great performance by Lex Luthor. You got a great performance by David Corenswet as Superman, right? Coming from a pretty credible person, Jeff Snyder. So right off, you got your two main characters doing well. So you're checking the most important of the boxes right there. The film balances humor and drama well with genuinely funny moments while knowing when to be serious, right? So let's touch on that. Let's talk about that a little bit. Um, there has been a lot of concern about this film being a comedy, right? Um, so first, let me just start off first by saying that this is why I say on YouTube, when it comes to watching certain film reviewers, reaction channels, right? Uh, we need to start taking these guys to task. Let's keep a ledger of the things they get right, the things we agree with, and the things they don't, right? Because people have been going hard on this movie, especially those from the Snyderverse. One big thing they had going was that, oh, this is a comedy. This movie's a comedy. It's going to be a terrible movie because they want Superman to be dark and serious like the vision from Zack Snyder, right? And so they can't fathom the idea of a movie can be bright, colorful, a good movie, be taken seriously at the same time when needed to be. And those are the very things I've been saying all along, that James Gunn is a different animal, right? He knows how to deliver these dark comedy like films that are bright and colorful, takes you to fantastic worlds. But when it's time to tug at those emotional heartstrings, he is the master of that. And that is the perfect element to what makes James Gunn a force to be reckoned with, and why he got that, and why he's gotten the helm of DC right now. Right? They didn't just give it to him for nothing. They gave it to him because he understands something. Here's another issue with the or something that we need to consider, right? The thing that we need to consider is that the reason that these Superman films, we haven't been able to get them correct, is maybe because they didn't have that perfect formula or balance, right, on how to do a Superman movie. And what I mean by that is, if we take a look, if we go back to the early Donner films with Superman, right, which was a very colorful Superman, yet a very emotionally serious Superman, at the same time had comedy in there, right? We remember Lex Luthor and the bits with his henchman, right? Otis. They would do these comical bits, right? But Lex Luthor at the same time, played by the late, great Gene Hackman, can be quite menacing, right? He could say lines serious to where you would believe him, and you could see the severity of the situation, right? So having comedy bits in there isn't the problem, right? It's much like if you prepare a dish. That dish may have salts and peppers, but you're going to need some sugars in there, because if you just have salts and peppers and not the other needed spices, that dish can become quite bland, right? So that's why it's so important to understand various elements that need to go into a film, and why they might work for certain films and why they might not work for other films. It could just be that within the Superman universe, where you're watching an actual human man take off and take flight, it might just be that he can't be dark and serious, all the time, the mood of the film, right? That we need the wonderment, and we might need a little comedy, much like the elements that go into a normal people's lives, right? Also, remember, these people are going to be in these movie theaters over 2.5 hours, right? You got to have a balanced film. And it seems like they're delivering on this. It seems like to me they're understanding, right, what it takes to do this film correctly. So I kind of feel vindicated in that, and maybe helping you guys to understand that. So we got two people, right? The main characters. We got David Corenswet coming back with a pretty credible source, strong performance. We got Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor, strong performance. Now, of course, the other, bit to this, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on that. I was going to do a video about the, the comparison to, Guardians of the Galaxy, and is that going to be a good decision, right? And maybe we'll do that as a second part video, and see how that goes. But yeah, tell me all what you think. I think James Gunn gets it. The thing about James Gunn also, when it comes to some of the works we've seen him do, from Creatures Commandos to the Guardians of the Galaxy to the Peacekeeper, right? They have those comedy elements in them, but they are also kind of B-list superheroes, right? B, C, D. They're not A-listers in the superhero world. And James Gunn has made them billion-dollar franchises, right? Now, for the people who are just like, we just can't believe, have confidence James Gunn's going to do this right, and this and that. Just think about a few things, right? Let's take a few things into consideration. So what you're really saying, then, is you're saying that a man who takes B, C, D listed superheroes, right, and makes them into billion-dollar franchises and makes them relevant when they're really not in the comic books, you're saying that he will put less attention to detail to the biggest superhero of all time in the universe. In other words, he's going to make that movie either on level with those other movies or worse, right? With those movies on their own, in their own right, being good movies, right? That's what you're saying, right? That's what you got to think about where you're going with this. And so how realistic is that? When they say things like, or they thought things like, I just don't know if, David Corenswet's going to be a good Superman, right? David Corenswet has been in movies where he showed his acting chops. What was the one movie? Was it called, was it Hollyland or something like that? Where he plays one of these, he comes off as one of these like classical 1950s Hollywood actors, right? Now, he probably went to some good acting school like Juilliard, you know, similar to Christopher Reeve and things like that. So these are seasoned good actors, right? With something as iconic and as big as Superman, right? Do you guys really, I mean, is that how you guys' minds really work? Do you really believe that they're going to put crap on the screen and not think about those things and just walk away from with the legacy of Superman, with all the big actors connected to the do you really believe that that James Gunn, the biggest position of his career, heading up DC and doing all this stuff, do you really think that James Gunn is just going to throw something on screen to subpar, right? And you say that's, I'm good with that? Probably not, guys. Probably not, right? So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. That I'm not, you guys, of course, you can look at the history of my reviews on this stuff. You're not going to catch me wishy-washy on this Superman, James Gunn Superman, right? And you're not going to come back after the movie's done and hear me going, well, it was really a good movie and now I'm on board. No, I could read the tea leaves before, right? And I'll keep a record of that on the channel to show you that I was all along in this. And keep in mind, I'm not a huge James Gunn fan. Guys, like I have been saying, I'm not a super huge fan of James Gunn movies, right? But I understand how he does a movie, right? And I have liked his movies, right? I have liked his movies, maybe not so much all the time the stories, but the elements of how he put movies together, the comedy in them, how they balance that with emotion. James Gunn is really good at that. And I've been saying that all along if you watch my videos. And just so, you guys, see that I was right on course with that. Look what Jeff Snyder says here. He says that there were jokey moments, but they were well balanced with drama and was genuinely funny, meaning they didn't try so hard. And the movie knew when to get serious, when to drop the comedy bits, and it's time to help you understand the gravity of the situation, right? So I think I'm going to leave it at that, guys. My next Superman video might be about why, if it feels kind of like a Guardians Galaxy team-up movie, why that might not necessarily be a bad thing, why that might actually deliver us into a good element of Superman maybe we haven't seen before, right? But that's all I'm going to say in this video, guys. Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share the videos, right? Let's get everybody going to watch this movie in July. I think that it's going to be a good movie, and I think it's going to take the Superman mythos to where it wants to be, followed up by Supergirl. All right, guys. Till next time, take care.